Hey everyone, Megan O'Leary here in New York City. I am joined by your Bantamweight champion, Cody Garbrandt. Cody, first of all, we're here in New York. This is going to be a historic card. This is only the second UFC fight in Madison Square Garden. For you, what does it mean to be able to compete in there?
It's everything to me. This is the mecca of fighting. This is where all the greats fought before, so to be able to go and fight in Madison Square Garden where all the greats have fought, and such a great card with 3 title fights, and me and TJ finally get to square off.
There's 3 title fights. Joanna's defending her belt. Michael Bisping's defending his belt. But George St Pierre is coming back. Is that someone you watched growing up in the sport?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm a huge GSP fan. I think he paved the way for a lot of fighters like myself. And it's great to see him come back. He was able to, successfully defend his title 9 times, walk away from the sport, go out and do other things, live his life for the past, 4 years. And what intrigues me is that he has a hunger to come back and he's excited to come back. And he's fighting in New York, so this is great. This is great for, I think, the sport, the fans, they got to see, GSP for years and years, just keep raising that bar to be able to finally come back and be up a weight class and fight Michael Bisping, who had a crazy career, has been over a decade, trying to climb that ladder and become a world champion, and here he is now fighting one of the best, the greatest, fighters to ever step inside the octagon.
As you're coming up in the sport, are these the kind of things you're envisioning? That I will be on a card with George St Pierre, I will be on that card with him and be the fight that people are most looking forward to?
When I used to watch GSP, I remember him fighting at, I think it was UFC 100, was it? I think
yeah, he fought on 100, yep.
Thiago Alves, I think, yeah, it was the 4th of July. So I remember that, and I just remember, seeing the way he competed, the way that he, just successfully just broke Thiago down with strikes and punches and takedowns, and I was like, wow, I remember saying, that'd be great just to, be there, watch the fight live. Now it's like, here I am, fighting on the same card as him, and I have like one of the biggest draws on the card with my fight, but here you have GSP, who's, is a legend and is a future Hall of Famer fighting for another world title up a weight class. So, like I said, it's intriguing to see that him taking the time off and still staying hungry and keeping his passion, after, being so successful in the sport and walking away from it and being able to come back. So I'm excited for his return, but I'm super excited about my fight and obviously all the hype behind it and all the love that we're getting from the fans, that they truly know this isn't a gimmick fight. These are 2, special athletes going in there and fighting each other, and to solidify and end a chapter of a lot of animosity and with what everything holds in this fight. It's a lot going on, so I think that's why everyone is so drawn to our fight. When you break it down in the simplest form, it's 2 of the best bantamweights in the world fighting each other to solidify who is the best alpha male in the world.
We know that there is drama, and like you said, there's animosity, and that's part of what's drawing people in, but you must respect TJ in a certain regard to call him such a special athlete and say you're 2 of the best bantamweights of the world. What really are your perspectives? Is this something that only pertains to outside the octagon, or what are your thoughts about him inside as a competitor?
You know what, I respect all my adversaries. I win, lose, or draw, I always respect them at the end of the fight. Go out there and challenge me to be a better fighter, a better human there. I always will tip my hat to him, shake his hand, whoever my adversary is. I have a lot of respect for TJ inside the octagon, his skills, but outside it's a completely different story for many reasons. But we're just talking about the fight, and I feel like I'm the far superior fighter. He wants to call me the fighter, and I'm an athlete. This is a fight. This is a fist fight. So I'd rather be the fighter than an athlete in this circumstance.
What really are you guys taking away from TJ Dillashaw's skill set and where you can get the upper hand?
Yeah, everything. They've built this guy from ground up. Justin Buchholz taught him how to throw his first punch. Uriah sheltered him, gave him food and water on his come up. So this guy like the back of his hand, just like they did Dominick Cruz, and I was able to take that experience and knowledge into the Dominick Cruz fight, and you was able to see how I was able to know his rhythm, know his patterns, know his, his style in there, and really, fight at my pace and fight the fight that I know how to fight. And it's not going to be no different with TJ. We know him better than that. I know TJ better than I know Dom, because I went hand in hand with him in combat before in training as a teammate, as a former teammate. So just taking all that knowledge and knowing that he has set patterns and how he fights, and his mental side of it as well is going to be a huge upper hand for me going into this fight.
Do you think we're going to see a lot of intense face-offs? Do you think things are going to be more chill between you guys?
We did the press conference and we squared off last a few weeks ago. He's the one that's putting the fist up. I'm ready to go. This has been a long long time coming. Way before the fight was announced, way before I was world champion, TJ was, I always felt threatened by me. I felt that as soon as I came out to the team, he was always just running his mouth saying he couldn't wait to spar me and do this and that. I already was pre-warned with how TJ is as a teammate. Prior to this, I remember watching TJ on The Ultimate Fighter, and I thought he was just, felt like he was entitled to this, he should fight this, and I thought he was really a sissy on there. He wanted to pick his fights, and he's lived that lifestyle. He's been born with a silver spoon in his mouth and feels entitled, He did that not in the rim too. He picked his certain amount of training partners that he would go with and the guys that he would stay away from. So I saw that, everyone's talked to him about as being a competitor. Yeah, he's very competitive when he has upper hand and when he's a front runner, but when he's in a fight with a real fighter, he seems to, not raise the bar, not go to that next level, and he always feels like and then you saw that in the Dominick Cruz fight. So I'm excited to go out there and in this chapter and retain my title.
You mentioned the Dominick Cruz fight. That's a fight that he lost, and obviously you beat Dominick Cruz to become the world champion. But something that you've said about Dominick intrigues me, because you said that you were just having so much fun, you didn't want to finish him, you were enjoying the moment. Are you looking at this fight with TJ with the same perspective, or is this something you want to finish to prove a point?
No, I really don't have to prove a point in there. I think all my fights, prove a point with my performances, with the added, drama and to finally put this to rest. I don't feel like I'm carrying any of the drama with me. I feel like he's carrying the whole bag of drama since he's made that decision to leave and how he went about it as a man. He was very disloyal and, dishonest to the team and the people that brought him up. So he's been carrying that around since he's left. He knows it's a bad decision. He's just very egotistical to admit that it was a horrible decision, and now he wants to spin it with other lies and so on and so on. But I feel like for me to go out there and just performing and going back, I've had 11 months hiatus. It was a very trying time for myself and my career. But outside of my career, I have many blessings that I'm very thankful for. But outside of that, my career was a very hard pill to swallow from becoming a world champion and what I did with the title. A lot of fighters become world champions, and you forget a lot of them, but it's what you do with the title, and that's what I wanted to do. I set out to have more goals, higher goals, to defend it, start my legacy. And I just go out there and have fun. I'm getting back to having fun, just like with the Dominick Cruz fight. I'm going to pick up where I left off. I've had an amazing camp. It's been fun. I'm so thankful to finally be healthy and be back here. I've been 11 months out from what I love to do, and I was able just to be healthy and happy to be here and fighting at the Mecca. So just go out there and have fun. That's going to really dictate, the fight, and there's who is, fierce or who's too emotional. I feel like TJ's going to come out very emotional with all the stuff and the added pressure that he has to win this fight. He has to win this fight. And I'm prepared to go in there for 25 minutes of, of a battle where I'm able to go in there and end it with one single shot. So I'm supremely confident in my skill sets leading up to this fight.
Obviously, like you said, this was a hard road for you, but outside of the Octagon, you got some amazing news. You got married and you have a baby on the way. Does that change perspective for you about what happens in the Octagon, or does it change outlooks on things about your career?
I feel like this last 11 months I've truly grown as a fighter, as a human, emotionally, physically, with the injury, with getting the fight postponed, getting engaged, married, the news of, I'm going to have a son, actually purchased a house, my first house. So many good things happened in my life outside of my career, and I truly believe everything happens for a reason. There's a reason why, that I sustained the injury and had to, withdraw from fights, and really kept me grounded. I had to build from, ground up again in my body, and it was something that my body needed. I went from unranked to world champion the same year, and it came at a cost. Team Alpha, we trained super hard, and injuries are part of the sport, unfortunately. But I know that, if I would have pushed myself to come back any faster, maybe not have longevity, and now I'm having a child, so I need to have longevity for my family, to put food on the table.
Oh my gosh, well, a life full of blessings, and I know you're looking for another one on Saturday night to defend your belt. Cody, best of luck to you at UFC 217. I cannot wait for this fight. This is gonna be insane, the co-main event, but people are so looking forward to this. Best of luck to you.
It's finally here, thank you for fighting.